With the urgent need for the country to move towards a just transition from the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity, the argument over how that will be done continues to rage on, with government calling for a slow phased-out process that would need to be heavily financed, versus environmental groups that are calling for the immediate integration of renewable energy in the energy mix. They've warned government that dragging their feet will only harm the poor and vulnerable the most.
We need to remind politicians that the future is where we're headed. We can't go backwards. And we need to remind politicians that they are supposed to represent people, not in economic interests. So I sometimes wonder if our politicians and government officials are so depressed that they actually have given up on the future and they just want to line their pockets. I don't know. Seems like that way.
Just this week, the United Nations expert in toxics and human rights urged government to tackle the so-called environmental racism of abandoned old mines and acid mine drainage that's left the air and water streams clogged and heavily polluted.
What is happening in South Africa as well and across the world, with mining corporations coming into communities and leaving the communities in shatters, in devastation, and they leave with all the wealth, and the communities remain poor.
Research shows that the impact of climate change affects women and children the most, as increasing droughts and floods lead to food insecurity and threatens their environment and livelihoods.
So collaboration is key. We are stronger together, for sure. The second thing is that communities are at the forefront of the climate struggle, and their voices should be the loudest. And whilst we organizations working in this space, we stand with communities. We have to make sure that those community voices are the loudest, as the most impacted by this, by the change in our climate.
Women climate change activists have vowed to continue mobilizing until a just transition is achieved and the effects of climate change are mitigated. Nozintombi Mia, SABC News.